The death of Ivan Ilych was the hardest read for me this semester, not because of advanced language, confusing plots, or dull material, but because it was so important and ultimately so terrifying. Tolstoy's brilliant writing left me with furrowed brows and a tight chest. I've never read a book that put into words so well what I've always been worried about. It started towards the end of middle school and continued until I finally set things straight my senior year. It began when I started getting annoyed of a lot of my classmates. They just always left me feeling empty. High school was the same way. The people all talked about the same things, competed for popularity, and lived for their ridiculous parties. I switched friend groups a few times, searching for something more. I was drawn to the people that lived for themselves. This transitional period was pretty hard for me, but it was a slow process that ended in true satisfaction. I felt so sorry for Ivan Ilyich because he only lived to do things the expected way, and the people he was searching for were only a so-called superior because of their wealth, power, and social status. It made me thankful, though, that I discovered something more important at a young age, where Ivan only realized his emptiness a few hours before his death. I can hardly imagine anything worse. The qualities he deems so important are almost repulsive to me. Social standing just means nothing if you have nothing more significant behind it. And there was no deep human connection in his life. This is what is so horrible it's almost hard for me to grasp. Real human connection is what I strive for most of my life because it's where I get the most genuine fulfillment. Ivan lost his life after childhood, but mine has only grown. Ivan began just going through the motions, not experiencing the world, and not feeling much emotion. I appreciate even the unpleasant emotions because it gives me a strong sense of life and it leads to progress. Ivan ran from any kind of negativity, though, because it didn't fit into his plan of a perfect life to fit societal standards. Society is such a powerful force, though. Humans do have a natural tendency to want to be accepted, popular, and part of the crowd. They become modern Ivans without realizing the consequences. Many marketing companies make their money off of just this concept. A few years ago, my mother told me she thought I should go into marketing. I didn't have any other strong ideas at the time, so I accepted it and assumed that that might be what I would go into school for. But my transitional period let me reevaluate a lot of things and figure out what was really important to me. I feel like the modern Ivan would have continued in marketing, made a lot of money, and focused on societal trends for the rest of his life. But I had to make my own decision when the time came, and that's why I'm in engineering. I feel like society doesn't affect me that intensely, but our class discussions were really worrisome. I think I'm making my own decisions, but are those the decisions that society has trained me to make? I had a good discussion recently with a friend after a late night of studying about why I'm going to college. A friend randomly asked, "Do you think you would have really chosen this path if society and parents didn't expect it of you?" And I'm not really sure, but the answer might be no. I would rather be traveling and working randomly, meeting people across the globe. But I guess it's also a question of responsibility and ability to provide for myself and possibly my future family. Either way, it's a tough question to deal with, and it's a little worrisome. But I think I just need to um, go with where I can get um, everything I want out of life. My favorite book of all time is The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. I think about it quite often, and I thought about it a lot while we were reading this book. Howard Rourke is the most amazing fictional role model I can ever imagine. He lives his life totally by his own standards, despite what society expects from him, and just prevails beautifully. I hope that I can continue living in this way and make a real effort to live by my own standards and do the things that make me me and not let myself slip into the terrible nothingness of Ivan Ilych.